For number 21, it says graph the quadratic equation. Identify the axis of symmetry, the vertex, the intercepts, and decide if it's a max or a minimum. So first I need a graph. So first of all, let's go ahead and label A, B, and C, because I have 3 terms here. So when I have 3 terms, I have my A, my B, and my C, and my first step is to plug into this. So for B, we're plugging 2 in, so that's a negative 2, and then 2 times blank, but A is 1. So now I've got negative 2, and 2 times 1 is 2. This simplifies to negative 1. So the whole idea is that the x value is negative 1. That is your axis of symmetry, and that's the first number in your vertex. Okay. To get the second number in the vertex, we plug that x, negative 1, into these x's here. So now I'm going to have negative 1 squared plus 2 times negative 1 minus 3. This right here is a negative 1 times a negative 1. That gives you a positive 1. The calculator will say negative, but it is a positive. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And then I bring the negative 3 down. We do 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Bring the negative 3 down, and we get negative 4. So the y value is negative 4. And then I plot negative 1, negative 4. So negative 1, negative 4. I take the 1, 3, 5, and I multiply it by the A value. So that means I'm still going to have 1, 3, 5 here. So from the vertex, I'm going to go up 1, right 1, up 1, left 1. Then I'm going to go up 3, right 1, up 3, left 1. And then I'm going to go up 5, right 1, left 1. And that gives me my U shape. Now, because the vertex is a low point, the lowest point of the graph, this is a minimum. Okay? This point right here and this point right here is my x-intercepts. So that would be 1, 0 and negative 3, 0. And then the y-intercept right here is 0, negative 3. Okay. For 22, I was given 2 terms here, my A term and my last term, which is C. And so when that occurs, your vertex is always 0 and then the last number, so 0, 3. Your axis of symmetry is the x value of the vertex, which is 0. So I'm going to graph 0, 3. Okay, so here's 0, 3. I have 1, 3, 5. And I have to multiply by that A value. So that's your A value, negative 3. So my new values are negative 3, negative 9, and negative 15. So from the vertex, I'm going to go down 3, right 1, and left 1. I'm also going to go down 9 because I can fit that on the graph. And then I go ahead and draw my U shape. Okay. Is my vertex a max or a min? It's a max. It's the highest point. My x-intercepts are right here. So that would be negative 1, 0 and 1, 0. The y-intercept, it's right here. It's actually your vertex this time. So where does the parabola cross the y? Only one point, which is the vertex. So again, it's going to be 0, 3. Okay, now in class we practice to draw the axis of symmetry. Okay, it doesn't say in the directions that you have to draw it, but if you feel better drawing it and seeing that x is 0 because it crossed 0, you could do that. And up here, if you draw that line through the vertex, you see that the line crosses -1, and that's what we use for the axis of symmetry there. Okay. All right. And then we have one last problem. So a football was 6 feet off the ground when a player threw it so that the ball traveled up in the air before coming back to the ground. So we can say that the starting point right here is 6. That is important information to know. The height of the football is described by the graph shown. Numbers along the x-axis represent the distance in yards after the ball was thrown, and the number along the y-axis represents the height in feet of the ball. All right, so now it says at the very bottom, which statement best describes the situation? So before I start reading this, usually they ask about the starting point, the landing point or the ending point, and where is the vertex of the parabola, which is like your highest point. So my highest point is right here. And that would be 2016. Okay? And then here it looks like this is counting by 2s. So 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46. Now if that ends halfway between 44 and 46, this point is 45. Okay? So we know it ends at 45, the highest point is 2016, and it started 6 feet off the ground. The vertex of the parabolic path is located at 2016. To the vertex. That is true. The vertex was at 2016. So I would circle A. The football started at ground level. That is not true. Ground level means that this parabola would have started right down here as 0. But it started at 6. So not true. So we could put false, just to help us remember that that's not a choice. The football's maximum height was at 16 feet. So when the football was thrown, what was the highest feet it was in the air? Okay. Well, that would be 16 feet. That is correct. The football landed 40 feet from the starting point. Well, we already figured that out. That's not true. So the parabola would have landed right there on 44, but instead it landed halfway between 44 and 46. So it's 45 feet from the starting point. So that one is also false. Okay? Lastly, the football landed about 45 feet from the starting point. Exactly right. We already discussed that right there. It's 45. So my solutions are A, C, and E. Okay. It does say circle all that apply, so I think that this is also just fine to circle here. You could also write your letters out to the side.